Welcome to the supplement for the Daily Bread Bible Study to day 92 for Wednesday, April 1st, 2020, focusing on 2 Samuel 4 through 7. We are discussing specifically one of the challenges around the city of David, namely, is it Bethlehem or is it Jerusalem? So we see this discussion for Daily Bread, day 92. We discussed a little bit about King David's forces capturing the town named Jebus and renaming that to Jerusalem. And then we see that Jerusalem is mentioned here as the city of David. So just a reminder, the Old Testament uses the city of David phrase 25 times, all referring to Jerusalem. And in the New Testament, it is used twice, specifically in the story of Luke, chapter 2. We see the angels of God declare in Luke 2, "But the angel said to them, 'Do not be afraid, for see, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all the people. To you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is the Messiah, the Lord.'" So we have to, figure out what's going on here. Did the author get it wrong? Are both of them cities of David? We know that David is born in the city of Bethlehem, but yet David's capital is there in Jerusalem for 33 years. So what is it? What's happening? And why is it that Luke 2, the angels of the God, one specifically sent from God to be correct and accurate in their information, claim that, this city of David reference, that Jesus is born there. Does that mean Jesus is born in Jerusalem, or that Bethlehem is actually the city of David instead of as the 25 times as it mentions in Jerusalem? So there's a lot to unpack here. I think part of the issue is an issue of translation, and so let's get into a little bit a nitpicky part of that. So the phrase city of David or in the city of David is kind of just hanging there at the end of the phrase in Greek. And so we're trying to wrestle with where we should tack it on. In the New Revised Standard Version, they throw it right after, to you is born this day in the city of David, a Savior. It could be translated differently, as we could put it, kind of at the end, and that'll change a little bit of our focus. It could be translated this way: "Do not be afraid, for see, I am bringing y'all," and just a reminder, the you is plural here, so I'm going to use y'all, "good news of great joy for all the people. Because a Savior, who is Christ the Lord," that phrase is independent too. I'll just move it up. "Because a Savior, who is Christ the Lord, has been born unto y'all in the city of David." So the y'all could be the ones who are in the city of David. Thus, the city of David could describe people who the Savior has been born to, instead of describing the physical location of the birth. Thus, Jesus could have been born for people in Jerusalem, right? The city of David, as it's called in the Old Testament, yet having been physically born in Bethlehem. So his place of birth would be Bethlehem. The people he would be born for would be those in the city of David. So the city of, this could be accurate. One of the challenges is that we also have to look at Luke 2:4, which Luke 2:4 is even more clear of trying to set up that the city of David is connected with Bethlehem. It says in the New Revised Standard Version, Luke 2:4, "Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and family of David." Now this is a little misleading here as well, because when we look at the Greek, these phrases are all kind of thrown into together with one another. So the phrase of the city of Nazareth, which it's a city and not really town, but anyways, city of Nazareth in Galilee, in Judea, or into Judea, into city of David, called Bethlehem. And so all of these pieces are kind of just set up next to each other, and the NRSV kind of puts them all together to be that, which makes it seem that the city of David is called Bethlehem. Now, we could translate it that Bethlehem is called the city of David, but in the Greek, the phrasing is just really transitioning from 2 points. It's saying that they went from Nazareth to Bethlehem, and then it further describes Nazareth as in Galilee. And then it kind of similarly sets up Bethlehem as in Judea. Now, the question about the mention of City of David is it just setting up that it's a subsection of of Judea, or is it saying that the city of David is equal to Bethlehem? So it's possible that it's just saying here is the specifics, that he went from Nazareth, which is in the overarching region of Galilee, to Bethlehem, which is in the sub-region of the city of David, right? It's around Jerusalem. It's 5 miles away from Jerusalem, so it could be a sub-region of the city of David. And it's within the larger area of the municipality of Judea. So it could be just setting up that it is honing in. It's not just Judea, it's not just the city of David, but it is in that area called Bethlehem. And so that's one possibility that's happening. I mean, it's very similar to what we do here in the United States. We say, we live in the United States. We also live in Texas. I live in Lubbock. The congregation, where I'm at physically right now, is in the South Overton neighborhood here in Lubbock. So anyways, that was a lot of explanation for a very simple phrase, but I believe it's very important to say that I don't believe the Bible is trying to be inconsistent. I don't believe that the author of Luke was inaccurate. I think, part of the challenge is just that the way that it's translated from Greek into English and the way their sentence structure is set up. And, the other part is, the amount of resources that we have available to us, because the Bible is trying to be synthesized into a whole story, even though it is, sub-stories kind of pieced together and put together. But to summarize, the writer includes the reference for the city of David mainly to just connect Jesus with the messianic hope in the line of David. And the physical location of the birth is less important than Jesus being a fulfillment of God's promises. So I hope that helps fill in some of the details I just glossed over there on day 92 of the Daily Bread Bible Study. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a tidbit to go into detail about Jerusalem. So thank you for that.